Sima Yi learned that Cao Shuang, together with his brothers Cao Shi, Cao Sun, and Cao Yan, as well as his close associates He Yan, Deng Yang, Ding Mi Baifan, and Li Sheng, had accompanied Emperor Cao Fang outside the capital to pay respects at Emperor Cao Rui's mausoleum before going hunting. Sima Yi was delighted when he heard the news. He believed the long-awaited opportunity had finally arrived. He immediately entered the court and ordered Gao Rou to temporarily assume the authority of Grand General and take control of Cao Shuang's military camps. He also instructed Wang Guan to seize command of Cao Shi's forces. Sima Yi then entered the imperial palace and reported to Empress Dowager Gua. Cao Shuang has betrayed the late emperor's trust. He surrounds himself with corrupt men and has thrown the government into disorder. He must be removed. The Empress Dowager was shocked. But the emperor is currently outside the city. What should we do? Sima Yi replied. I have already prepared a memorial and a plan to eliminate the traitorous faction. Your Majesty need not worry. Frightened, the Empress Dowager reluctantly agreed. Sima Yi immediately ordered Jiang Ji and Sima Fu to jointly submit the memorial and dispatched eunuchs to deliver it to the emperor. He then moved to secure the imperial armories. News of the coup soon reached Cao Shuang's residence. His wife Lady Lu hurriedly summoned the gate commander Pan Zhu and asked, "My husband is away. Why has Sima Yi suddenly mobilized troops?" Pan Zhu answered, "Do not worry, madam. I will investigate." He climbed the gate tower with several dozen archers and happened to see Sima Yi's forces approaching. Pan Zhu immediately ordered his men to fire. Arrows rained down, forcing Sima Yi to halt. A general named Sun Qian quickly shouted, "The Grand Tutor acts for the sake of the state. Stop shooting." After repeated warnings, Pan Zhu finally ceased fire. Sima Zhao personally escorted his father through the danger, and then led troops to occupy the floating bridges over the Luo River, cutting off all routes in and out of the city. Meanwhile, Cao Shuang's officer Lu Ji discovered that something unusual was happening in Luoyang, and discussed the matter with Xian Chang. Lu Ji asked, "Sima Yi has suddenly moved. What should we do?" Xian Chang replied, "We should leave the city and protect the emperor." When Xian Chang returned home, his sister Xian Xianying noticed his anxiety and asked what had happened. After hearing the situation, she calmly said, "Sima Yi is probably not rebelling. He only intends to remove Cao Shuang." Xian Chang was surprised. "How can you be so certain?" Xian Xianying replied, "Cao Shuang is no match for Sima Yi. He is destined to lose." Xian Chang then asked whether he should accompany Lu Ji to the emperor. She answered, "To uphold one's duty is the highest form of righteousness. To abandon responsibility when one's lord is in danger would be disgraceful." Following her advice, Xian Chang and Lu Ji led several dozen cavalrymen through the city gates and headed toward the emperor. At the same time, Sima Yi became concerned that another key figure, Huan Fan, might escape the city. After consulting with his son, Huan Fan decided to join Cao Shuang. Using a forged order supposedly issued by the Empress Dowager, he tricked the gate commander Si Fan into opening the gate. Once outside, he shouted, "Sima Yi has rebelled. Come with me." When Sima Yi heard this news, he was alarmed. "This is bad. The strategist has escaped." Jiang Ji reassured him. "Huan Fan may be clever, but Cao Shuang is indecisive. He may not listen." Sima Yi relaxed somewhat after hearing this. He then dispatched Su Yin, Chen Tai, and Yin Damu to persuade Cao Shuang to surrender. At the same time, he swore that he only intended to reclaim military authority and meant no further harm. While hunting, Cao Shuang suddenly received news of the coup in Luoyang. He was so shocked that he nearly fell from his horse. Sima Yi's memorial was read before Emperor Cao Fang. In it, Sima Yi recalled Emperor Cao Rui's deathbed instructions and accused Cao Shuang of monopolizing power, persecuting rivals, manipulating the emperor, dividing the imperial clan, and harboring dangerous ambitions. Therefore, his military authority had to be revoked. After the memorial was read, Cao Fang asked, What do you intend to do? Cao Shuang was completely overwhelmed. His brother Cao Shi sighed bitterly. I warned you before, but you would not listen. Even Zhuge Liang could not defeat Sima Yi. How can we possibly oppose him? We should surrender and save our lives. At that moment, Xian Chang and Lu Ji arrived. They informed Cao Shuang that Luoyang had already fallen under Sima Yi's control, and that the bridges had been secured. Before they finished speaking, Huan Fan arrived on horseback. He urgently advised, escort the emperor to Xuchang immediately. Use the Son of Heaven's authority to summon armies from across the empire and destroy Sima Yi. But Cao Shuang hesitated. His family remained in Luoyang, and he was unwilling to abandon them. Huan Fan pleaded, the emperor is right beside you. Who would dare disobey an imperial command? Why sit here and wait for death? Yet Cao Shuang could not make up his mind. Sun Suyun, Chen Tai, and Yin Damu arrived as well. They repeatedly assured him, Sima Yi only wants your military authority. He does not intend to harm you. Huan Fan desperately objected. Do not believe them. But Cao Shuang had already begun to waver. That night, Cao Shuang sat in his tent holding a sword and wept until dawn. He thought about his options from evening until morning and still could not decide. Huan Fan urged him once more. A full day and night have passed. Can you still not decide? Suddenly, Cao Shuang threw the sword to the ground. With a deep sigh he said, I no longer want military power. I no longer wish to be Grand General. If I can simply live peacefully as a wealthy man, that will be enough. Huan Fan burst into tears. Cao Zhen thought himself wise, yet his sons have turned out to be fools. In the end, Cao Shuang surrendered the seal and authority of the Grand General. Once the soldiers saw their commander give up power, the army quickly dispersed. Only a handful of followers remained at his side. When they reached the Luo River Bridge, Sima Yi ordered, the Cao brothers may return home. All others will remain under supervision pending investigation. By the time Cao Shuang re-entered the city, he had no guards left. When Huan Fan crossed the bridge, Sima Yi pointed at him with his riding whip and remarked, Dr. Huan, why go to such lengths? Huan Fan lowered his head and said nothing. After the emperor returned to the capital, Sima Yi placed Cao Shuang and his family under arrest. To lower their guard, he even sent grain when Cao Shuang requested food. Believing himself safe, Cao Shuang relaxed. Meanwhile, Sima Yi gathered evidence against Cao Shuang's faction. Huan Fan, He Yan, Deng Yang, Li Sheng, Ding Mi, and others were arrested and accused of treason. Eventually, Cao Shuang, his brothers, and their supporters were executed, and their families were exterminated. One exception was Xiahou Lingnu, whose loyalty to the Cao family impressed Sima Yi enough that he allowed her to preserve the family line through adoption. Afterward, Sima Yi chose not to punish several officials who had remained loyal to Cao Shuang, praising them for their sense of duty. He also issued a general pardon to many former members of Cao Shuang's faction, helping restore stability in Luoyang. Emperor Cao Feng then granted Sima Yi the title of Chancellor and the highest honors of the state. Although Sima Yi outwardly declined, real power in Wei had already passed to him and his sons, Sima Shi and Sima Zhao. Soon afterward, Sima Yi turned his attention to Xiahou Ba, a relative of the Cao clan. Fearing he would be the next target, Xiahou Ba fled and eventually defected to Shuhan. Jiang Wei welcomed Xiahou Ba after confirming his sincerity. During a banquet, Xiahou Ba warned him about two rising talents in Wei: Zhong Hui, a brilliant military strategist, and Deng Ai, an exceptionally gifted commander despite his speech impediment. He predicted that both men would one day become major threats to Shuhan. Jiang Wei, however, remained confident. Believing Wei was weakened by internal political turmoil, he persuaded Lu Shan to approve another northern campaign. Following one of Zhuge Liang's earlier strategies, he sent Juan and Li Xian to fortify positions at Xushan. Guo Huai quickly responded by sending Chen Tai to besiege Xushan. After cutting off the fort's water supply, The Wei army placed the defenders in serious danger. When Jiang Wei finally moved to rescue them, Xiaohou suggested attacking Nyoto Mountain to force the Wei army to withdraw. The plan seemed promising, but Chen Tai had already anticipated it and prepared an ambush. At the same time, Guo Huai cut off the Shu supply routes. With his logistics collapsing, Jiang Wei was forced to retreat. Wei forces pursued relentlessly, inflicting heavy casualties. Near Yangping Pass, Jiang Wei encountered Sima Yi and personally led the attack, defeating him after only a few exchanges before breaking through safely. As the Shu army withdrew behind the defenses of Yangping Pass, Zhuge Liang's repeating crossbow tactics once again helped hold back the enemy. Summary. This chapter focuses on the Gaoping Tomb's coup and the rise of the Sima clan. Sima Yi seized control of Luoyang while Cao Shuang was away with Emperor Cao Fang. Although Cao Shuang still possessed the emperor and had Huanfan's strategic advice, his indecision led him to surrender. Sima Yi then eliminated Cao Shuang's entire faction and became the true ruler of Wei. The chapter also introduces the growing importance of Zhong Hui and Deng Ai, while Jiang Wei resumes the northern campaigns against Wei. As the Sima clan consolidates power, the final phase of the Three Kingdoms era begins to take shape. Historical notes. 1. Historically, Sima Yi's actions were not considered a straightforward rebellion, but a successful coup against Cao Shuang. While Cao Shuang was accused of abusing power, there is no clear evidence that he was actually preparing to seize the throne. 2. Xiaohou did defect to Shu Han in history. However, the novel dramatizes the event by portraying it as an armed uprising. In reality, he likely fled because he feared persecution by the Sima regime after Cao Shuang's downfall.